Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, where I watch shit so you don't have to. And this time I'm back to talk about the newest Marvel Cinematic Universe project called WandaVision, which debuted today on Disney Plus. Now, for those of you who are unaware, which is probably very few of you if you're watching this video, when Disney Plus dropped over a year ago, one of the enticing aspects of it was the fact that it was going to house Marvel Studios, actually we'll call it, Marvel Studios television shows, original content that would align with the films. So we would have for instance, we have a Loki show coming out that's going to star the same Loki from the films, Tom Hiddleston. So that was one of the big selling points. Now it's been over a year since the debut of Disney Plus, and we are just now getting WandaVision, the first show in that series, with Falcon and Winter Soldier coming soon, and many others, according to Disney, fairly recently. So I sat down to watch the first two episodes, which Disney Plus premiered today, with a weekly release schedule going forward. Giving my thoughts on this series so far, I have to say I have absolutely no interest in watching any more of this show. I thought this was an actively bad show. I spent 30 minutes in complete and total boredom. Basically, let me rewind a little bit. We don't know anything about this show going in. It seems like Marvel's been fairly tight-lipped about the concept of the show. The trailer didn't tell you much. You could tell it was going to be something kind of quirky, kind of weird, whatever. Basically, the concept of the show is that it's a sitcom starring WandaVision. Pretty simply, a 50s sitcom, I should say, not a sitcom, a 1950s sitcom. So imagine now in 2020, we've spent our time watching, look at the stuff I've reviewed so far, stuff like The Undoing, stuff like Raised by Wolves, which I reviewed on the podcast, all kinds of stellar television. Can you imagine if you were sitting down watching something like The Wire or The Godfather? Have you ever been inclined to go, now I want to watch Bewitched? No, you haven't. That's essentially what this show is. It's kind of like Bewitched, Leave It to Beaver kind of shit, like 1950s black and white sitcom starring powered individuals. And on the surface, you would think there's a bit of potential there, and so far there isn't. It's pretty straightforward in that it is a sitcom with superpowered individuals. They give us about, I'd say, 15 seconds or so in the first episode that are kind of like, hey, what's going on here? And then they give us about 45 seconds in the second episode of, hey, what's going on here? Like, you could tell there's something, things aren't as they seem. But they didn't give me enough of that. I'm not going to sit through 29 minutes of boredom to get 15 seconds of intrigue. And that's not enough to get me to buy in on this show and to be interested in the next episode. And the thing is, they could turn this around quickly, but I don't understand why you wouldn't give a hint of that turnaround in the first two episodes that you dropped. Because right now, I don't even want to watch the third episode. I don't even want to watch the second one. But about 5 minutes into the second episode, I'm like, I don't even fucking want to watch this shit. Like, it's not funny. It tries to be. And it has a couple of moments where it's like, but not actual, like, good laughs. Like, it's like, chuckles. The storylines are just like you would be accustomed to and kind of like in the 1950s sitcoms. You know, the first episodes, Vision and Wanda are trying to impress Vision's boss from work at a dinner party. And the second episode, they do magic tricks to raise money for kids. Like, stupid shit, like nothing interesting at all. And then at the end of the episode, especially the second one, they give you about, like I said, about 30, 45 seconds of, oh, wait, there's something else going on here. Oh, wonder what it is. But you cannot bore the fuck out of me for 29 minutes and expect me to give a fuck about your 45 seconds of intrigue. And I don't at all. I was actively getting angry, like, why is this so fucking boring? It's not funny. It's not interesting. There's no bad guys. There's no enemy. Like, and maybe that'll come down the road. But don't have me in a situation where I don't know if I even rely on that or care about that. Like, because right now, if they had given me more of that in the second episode to where I could go, okay, I kind of feel like this show is going somewhere and it's doing something. And I'm like, okay, I'll give it a third episode. But they didn't give me enough of that. and you don't want to lose your viewers in the first 2 episodes, but they fucking lost me. Like, I will watch the 3rd episode to see if they do it then, to like build upon the little bits of intrigue that they gave at the end of the 2nd episode. But if the 3rd episode gives me another 29 minutes of garbage and 45 seconds of intrigue, fuck this show. I'm out. I'm really surprised that it's this bad. I don't find anything redeeming about this show at all. And at the end of the day, too, we have to keep in mind, as I don't think there's anyone who actively dislikes Vision or Wanda, but I think we can all be kind of in agreement that they're 2 of the least interesting characters out of the MCU. Like, I know when they announced this show, I'm like, okay, 1, Vision's dead. And then 2, I don't know if I want to see that. And then it was called WandaVision, which is an awful title. I'm hoping that they have something planned within maybe like the next episode or 2 where it's going to get interesting in the sense of like, you realize that they don't actually like live in this sitcom world, and it's like some trick that an enemy is playing on them or something like that. But right now it's playing straight up as a 1950s sitcom starring Wanda and Vision, and it is not funny and it is not interesting. Even more so, what else pissed me off? Coming into this show, one of the things that I wonder going into any new show is how long the episodes are, because I want to be able to, be able to schedule it per se. I want to, go, okay, if I want to watch 2 episodes of whatever, I need 2 hours. If I want to watch 2 episodes of this other thing, I need 1 hour or 45 minutes, whatever the case may be, right? So the instant I woke up this morning, I was like, let me see how long these WandaVision episodes are. The first one was 30 minutes. The first one is 37. So already that was a little off-putting to me because I'm like, why is it so short? But I'm like, whatever. The Mandalorian was kind of weird with run times. Like, you had some that were north of 50 minutes and you had some that were as low as like 35, 36, 37, somewhere in that range. So I said, all right, I'll take a 30, 37 minute episode. Why are the fucking credits 7 minutes long? What the fuck? A 30-minute episode. I thought it was, I was like, there's no way. There's no way. Because, like, I looked at the thing because I'm like, it feels like this episode is kind of over. So I paused it and it had just over 7 minutes left. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, let's see. Maybe something interesting will happen. You know what happened? The fucking credits. And I'm like, fast forwarding through, like, there's no way the credits are 7 minutes long. The credits are 7 minutes long. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's just that first episode. It's the 2nd episode too. 7 fucking minutes of credits. So you mean to tell me not only is the show shitty, not only is it not funny, not only is it not interesting, not only is it not even fairly long in duration, but you're gonna fuck me over with 7 minutes of credits? Oh man, I was actively pissed. I'm getting pissed off again about this show, like, because I had such high hopes. So I'm hoping that I will give the 3rd episode a chance, and the little breadcrumbs that they dropped, particularly in the 2nd episode, because they didn't really give too much in the first one, but they gave a teeny tiny bit in the first one, but they dropped a few breadcrumbs in the 2nd episode that something was up. They need to build on that real fucking fast, because I'm not sticking with boring 30-minute episodes and 7-minute credits, hoping for a payoff that might happen 4, 5, 6 episodes down the road. Like, that's just poor planning. Like, why would you need to buy these viewers in right away? Like, you need these cliffhangers at the end of an episode, or just something of intrigue for especially when you're doing these weekly release schedules. Like, if all 8 or 9, 10, however many episodes were released all at once, I could keep going and I'm like, okay, there's what they're doing, and then maybe I'm in now. But now I gotta wait another week just to possibly watch another shitty episode? No. So, I always say, welcome to One Mic, where I watch shit so you don't have to. You don't need to fucking watch this show. I will tell you next week if the 3rd episode builds upon the about 45 seconds of breadcrumbs that the 2nd episode dropped that make this show interesting. But as of right now, again, it's a black and white comedy, which, fine, I watch black and white shit all the time. It's a black and white comedy it's a sitcom that's not funny. It's not interesting. And it's really played straight up for the most part. Even when they use their powers, it's kind of dumb. Like, it's not like, she's like using her powers to make dinner and shit. Like, I can't wrap my head around why they would make something this shitty that I don't have any interest in. I'm incredibly intrigued to see if there are people who are head over heels over this show and what it is about it, because I don't want to hear any kind of like cinephile snobbish shit like, well, it's a black and white film and they do a lot of plays on this. They don't play on shit. It's played straight up. It's a sitcom from the 50s. It's fucking Bewitched. And it's nowhere near as funny as Bewitched. Nowhere near. So if you don't absolutely fucking love Bewitched to the point where you're like, even a lesser version of that would still be good to me, you don't need to watch it. You don't. Sorry. I'm as disappointed as you guys are in that review, but like I said, I'll give it one more. After that, I'm done. This needs to get much better real fucking fast. Peace.